Unpopular opinion. I'm convinced that in the modern corporate world, work-life balance is a myth. I tend to think of it more as work-life integration. It's almost impossible to balance your work and your life. I've been around for a long time. I'm an old guy. And when I first entered the workforce, when you clocked off from work at the end of the day, you clocked off from work at the end of the day. I mean, yes, you might still be thinking about a few things, but there was no smartphone where someone from work could reach you with a message or a phone call anytime they wanted. You weren't taking a laptop home from work. There was no internet at home where you could do work at 2 a.m. if you felt like doing it. Clients weren't global trying to reach you at every hour of the day. It just wasn't like that. Business wasn't like that. And so work-life balance, that idea kind of made more sense. People still were workaholics. People still worked themselves far too hard, and people still neglected other priorities in their lives. Don't get me wrong. But the idea of work-life balance made more sense. As I said, let's think more about work-life integration. Let's accept the fact that for many of us, our work lives and our personal lives are inextricably intertwined. Does that mean that one can't achieve great mental health outcomes? No, it does not. And we all know that there is a current mental health epidemic in society. We are so connected and so distracted and so trying to be the perfect version of ourselves that it can become very overwhelming. We're also more aware of mental health challenges, which frankly I think is a great thing. What I'm going to share with you is my top 4 tips for creating a lovely work-life integration that will allow you to achieve what you want to achieve, both personally and from a workplace point of view, and maintain your mental health, which is very important. Let me be very clear. I did not read this in a book, what I'm about to share with you. This is something that is part of my lived experience. And can I say, I did not always get this right. I have been through all sorts of challenges with work-life balance or work-life integration, as I like to call it. But I've been doing this for a long time. And what I need to share with you right now is that I own 3 businesses. I work very busily with the Colin James Method as a contract master facilitator. I'm in 4 bands as a musician. One of them tours constantly around Australia. I coach a cricket team, and I've managed to maintain a marriage for 28 years. Now, I'm not perfect at any of those things, but I have found a way to integrate all these elements of my life and be comfortable with the fact that I'm giving all of myself to every single one of them. And if I can do it, you can do it, because I am certainly not a genius. Here's step 1. Be very good at prioritizing. So think about your work in your business. I would say you, either yourself or people in your organization, are constantly involved in setting strategic priorities for your business, the business you work in. It's important. Every business needs to do it. We rarely do it properly on a personal level. What I'm suggesting is you need to set your own strategic goals. And that sounds kind of when I say it like that, but it's really a case of just writing down or mentally working out what's important to you. What are your priorities? Is it to spend more time with your children? Is it to pursue a hobby that you love? Is it to be a better friend? Is it to get that next promotion? Is it to finish the next project at work? You get to decide your priorities. But if you don't know what they are, it's very hard to create a great, balanced, integrative life. So think about what's important to me, what's most important to me. That's step 1. Step 2 then is to become great at scheduling. So if I just said, well, what's more important to me or most important to me is spending more time with my children, I suggest you literally schedule that in. Now, if you're saying, Paul, what are you trying to make me into a robot? Like I have to schedule time with my kids? That's disgusting. And what's the alternative though? The alternative is spending no time with your kids. So if you can extemporaneously spend time with your children without having to schedule it because it comes naturally to you, awesome. Then you don't have a problem with that aspect of your priorities. But if you find there's never enough time, or you're rushing your children away when they interrupt you when you're trying to work on something, and then you feel guilty about it later, or you snap at them when they're being too noisy, well, maybe scheduling time to be with your children, if that's a priority for you, would be something that would be important. So become great at scheduling. Make time for your partner. Make time for that hobby that you love doing. Make time to finish that project. Don't procrastinate. Become great at scheduling is my second tip for achieving great work-life integration. My third tip is to create physical and time boundaries. Now, when I say create physical and time boundaries, this is all about taking that wonderful time management word, no, and introducing it into the way we operate in our lives. An example of a physical boundary might be, if you work from home, as many people do, it can be easy to become distracted from your work by home things, and sometimes it can be easy to be distracted from your home by your work things. Now, that's not an efficient way to operate. What you want to be giving all of yourself to everything every time. So a physical boundary could be, for example, something that I do. I have an office at home. home, and when the door's shut, that means that I am working. And my adult children who live with me know they're not entering unless without a polite little knock, and I may tell them to go away because I might be working on a project or in a meeting or something like that. Simple boundary, but I don't blur it. So I don't try and work from the kitchen table as an example. Now look, for some people that may work, but I need the boundary. Now let's take that physical boundary idea and expand that into what I call a time boundary, which is allocate time to work on the things you want to work on and say no when that boundary is exceeded. If you want to work on an important project from 8 p.m. to midnight, then that's what you're doing. But then at midnight, you say no to working any longer, and you have the discipline to stop and go to sleep or work on the next thing, whatever it is that you're doing. If you told your son you were going to take them to soccer practice, then you take them to soccer practice and you say no to the other things that may come up. Now, yes, I live in the real world and I understand sometimes things have to be rescheduled. It's okay to reschedule something. It's not okay to cancel it if it was important to you in the first place. Creating physical and time boundaries and sticking to them. There's no point filling out that lovely diary with all the colours if you don't follow any of it. That will really help with you getting the integration right. And here's my fourth tip, and I believe the most important one for maintaining mental health. Now, I call this white space. If you Google white space, it will say it's a space between words on a page, or it'll say it's the gap between what we're promising our customers and what we're delivering them. Now, this is none of those things. When I talk about white space, I'm talking about time to yourself, just for you, to recharge your battery. And in that white space, you do something for you and just you. Gives you satisfaction. What could that be? It could be whatever you like. It could be reading a book. It could be going water skiing. It could be coaching a soccer team. It could be something that gives you pleasure that you do to recharge your battery and make yourself feel good. I believe we all need some of that white space where it's just about us to make us feel really good. You can call it a hobby, but maybe it's not a hobby. It can be whatever you would like it to be. If you schedule in white space on a regular basis, it will make you feel better. You'll feel more balanced. You'll achieve the integration, and you will certainly be a more effective work colleague, partner, husband, friend, wife, or whatever it might be. 4 tips for achieving work-life integration. I still think work-life balance is a bit of a myth. Good luck.